Okay, so to get started, because sometimes this yarn does like to defer, I chose to do a chain 2. You can use a magic circle if you would prefer. I just don't like accidentally pulling the yarn and it ripping or the chenille coming off. So chain 2, and then we're going to put 8 single crochets in that first chain. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Bit of yarn vomit there I might have to pause to deal with. So now that we have that, we are going to increase, so put 2 single crochets in each stitch. So we will end this round with 16 stitches. 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So we have now done our initial round of 8, and then we did 16. If you didn't notice, because I realized I didn't say, you're doing continuous rounds, which should be evident because we did not do a chain 1 when we started increasing. So from here on out, to save time on the video for you, I will do the first little section in each round, and then I will pause the video and come back when I have finished. So you can do the same. The next round will be a single crochet and then an increase all the way around. I always encourage using a stitch counter if you're not counting or you get distracted or you have people interrupting you, so you don't lose track of where you're at. So for this, we will end up having 24 stitches once we've completed this round. So we start with 1 single crochet, and then we increase with 2 in the next stitch, and then we do that again. So another single crochet and then an increase. So you'll have 24 total once we end. We just did together 6 stitches of the 24. I'll see you once we are done with this round. Okay, you should now have 24 stitches in the bottom half of your steamer. It should look similar to this. We're now going to do single crochet, increase all the way around to total in 32 stitches. So single crochet, increase of single crochet, and then single crochet, and an increase. And you're going to continue that pattern all the way around until you have 32 stitches. We just did our first 8. I'm going to pause and see you at the end of this round. Okay, we are back. You should have 32 stitches total where you went single crochet, increase all the way around. Now we're going to do 3 single crochets and an increase, which has you work in groups of 5 if you count the stitches. So this time the round will end at 40 stitches, and it will look like this: single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, increase. So now we have 5 stitches, single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, increase. You should now have 10 of your 40 stitches if you did that along with me. And I will see you at the end of this round with our 40 stitches. Okay, we are back, 40 stitches, and we're ready to do the next round. This is our last round of increasing, and it will be 48 stitches in total. And you will do 4 single crochets and then an increase. So single crochet. In fact, this time I'm actually going to use the stitch counter. So single crochet, there's the second single crochet, third and fourth, and then we're going to do an increase. And then single crochet again, another one for 2 of them, and we get 3 and 4, and then an increase. So 2 in that one. And you're going to continue that path all the way around till you have 48 stitches. And when we get back, we'll do the next step. Okay, we are done increasing. We have our 48 stitches. And now we're going to start our rounds, which is where you just put a single crochet in each stitch going around. Again, we will not be using chains. This is continuous row. But for this first round of going in the rounds, we are going to go in the back loop only. So I'm going to zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about. So you have, on each stitch, you have a back loop and a front loop. And we're going to take our crochet hook and hook onto just that back loop, single crochet in like that. So then it starts to push it inward to make it stand up. Again, we're going to just grab the back loop of the 2 and go like that. I'll do one more and then I will pause and see you at the end of this round, and it will be 48 stitches because we are no longer increasing. Just like that, guys. Okay, we are back, and if you set this down, it should start coming up already because we went in the back loops that last round. So now we're going to do another round of just single crochet all the way around, but we're going to go back into both loops how you typically crochet, just like that. And again, both loops like you normally would, and you will do that all the way around. And I will see you at the end of this round. Okay, and now you have it to where you're going back in both loops. You've done 2 rounds now. Now we are going to finish this off by doing 3 more rounds of single crochet all the way around. So you're going to start this next round and then do 2 more and come back. So you're going to want to pause your video, because at that point we'll be talking about weaving in ends when we're done, because I will go off camera to save you the length of this video to do those last 3 rounds. So remember, you need 3 rounds, and then you can unpause and see how we finish off. Okay, you got those 3 rows done. And now, before we close it off, we're going to check it with our little dumpling. And if it fits about like that, you are good to go. If your dumpling is bigger, so you're seeing more of the face, you would want to do 1 more row just to give it more depth. So now we're going to take him out and we'll go ahead and cut off this. Let's see, where am I at? I'm going to do a slip stitch so the bump isn't as big. And then we will take our tapestry needle and weave in our 2 ends. You are now halfway done with your steamer. There we go. All right, now go ahead and put this to the side. And get ready to make that steamer lid. Okay, just like we did for the bottom, we're going to work in continuous rows. We're going to do a chain 2, like I said then 2. You can do a magic circle if you like and your yarn is playing nicely. I will also, with these continuous rows, after the first 2, be pausing the video to make it faster for the tutorial purposes, since it's just a lot of repetitiveness. So I just did a chain 2 and started a single crochet in the first chain, and I'm going to put in 5 more, so I have a total of 6. 3, 4, 5, and 6. So now you should have 6 single crochets that were put in that first chain to make your circle. We will now put an increase in each one to end our round in 12 total stitches. And remember, you are not doing a chain 1. It is completely continuous rounds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and then 11 and 12. All right, so now we have 12 single crochets in our lid. Now we will start doing the pausing. For this next round, you're going to do a single crochet and then an increase. So again, it was a single crochet like that, and then an increase, so 2 stitches in 1 stitch, all single crochets. You will end this round with 18 stitches, and I will see you once you get that finished. Okay, so it should be starting to dome a little like this, and that is correct. So if it's doming, don't try and push it flat, let it dome naturally. You should have 18 stitches in on your project. We're now in that last row. We're now going to do another increase round where it's single crochet, increase with a total of 24 stitches. I will do the first 2 sets and then I'll pause and meet you at the end. So here's a single crochet, single crochet, increase, single crochet, single crochet, increase, and keep doing that till you get all the way around, and you should have 24 stitches in your round at the end. Okay, so this round is going to be a little different. Instead of doing the normal of more single crochets with an increase, we will be doing a single crochet and then an increase all the way around, giving us a total of 36 stitches. So single crochet, increase, put a stitch marker here. So that's 3 stitches so far. I'll do it again. Single crochet and an increase. I'm going to pause the video and meet you at the end of this round with our 36 stitches. Okay, we have the 36 stitches, and we're going to go into now our last row of increasing. It will end with 48 stitches, and we're going to go single crochet, single crochet, increase. So we just did 4 of the stitches for this round. Again, it's single crochet, single crochet, and an increase, which will give us a total of 48 stitches. I will see you at the end of this round. Okay, we have those 48 stitches in, and we're done with our rounds. Now to get to the fun. We're almost done. So I'm going to bring this down because, like last time, when we were wanting the bowl to stand, we needed to go in the back loops, and that's where we're at right now. We're going to go a single crochet in every stitch all the way around. So you're going to single crochet around, but only in that back loop. So you got back loop and front loop. So I'm going to zoom in again so you guys can see it close. So back loop, front loop. We're using those loops only for the single crochet. So back, ooh, it doesn't want to go. There we go. Back loop, single crochet, back loop, single crochet. One more, back loop, single crochet. And I will go ahead and pause the video and see you once you get that done. Okay, so now we should have 48 stitches that we did in the back loop. So I have my first stitch started. We're going to go 9 single crochets and then an increase. I'm going to do that part with you and then tell you what to do the rest of the way, and I will come back on for the last section to make sure that you do it right. So here's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then an increase. You're going to do this same 9 and an increase 3 more times, so you have a total of 4 of them going around the steamer, and then we'll have an extra section after. So go ahead and do 2 more, and I'll come back for the last one in that section. Okay, so here we are. We got one more section of doing 9 single crochets and an increase, so we're going to do those quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 with an increase. Now, the next part doesn't have enough to do that all the way again. What you're going to do is just crochet over till you hit the end, which should, if you didn't miss stitch, be 52 stitches in total for this round. And this will be 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and okay. With this done, and you have that last stitch in, you're just going to want to slip stitch right here, and then make a tail for sewing. It doesn't need to be super long. We're only going to do like 8 stitches, but enough to get you through. So at this point, typically I'll go ahead and sew them on before I make the handle. So we're going to do just that. Get that in. So what I like to do is line up where I ended. Now this should be fairly smooth, so it's not like easy to see, but that way the backs are together like that. So then I'm going to then flip this inside to the inside. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these back rows. It's the back loop on both sides. So on the inside of the steamer and on the inside of the lid, I'm going to use those to sew. And I'm only using the inner loops that are in or back loop in the steamer and the lid to minimize the look of a seam on the outside. You do not have to sew these together if you don't want to. I just do that so that way the lid doesn't get lost. Because kids will lose it and then they'll get mad. So it's just easier if it's sewn on. So once I get so far out, because I kind of like to make this spot more the middle than the end, I went 4 or 5 stitches, so now I'm going to just kind of go this, I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to start weaving it through to get it over, and then I'm going to continue on this side. Again, you're going to use those inner loops to sew through. And you'll see why in a moment. If you think it's silly, you don't have to do it that way. I just do it that way for appearance purposes. It doesn't have any other purpose beyond that. I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to tie it off. So you do not, it's not a hard, you have to do 8 stitches. You do it till you feel like you've gotten it across enough that it looks secure. I do like the 8 stitch look. I didn't even count when I did that. I just stopped when it was aesthetically pleasing. There we go. And then you have one other end to sew in right there. You just weave it in where you see fit. There's no rhyme or reason to how you weave in your ends. You also could have weaved it in the beginning as you were doing your crochet, putting it in between as you did each stitch, and that is perfectly good and fine. Nothing wrong with that. So now you have your little steamer. It's kind of handy sometimes at this point too to put a dumpling in it to kind of keep the lid up and going for you so you can see it. Next part's super easy. We'll put that to the side so we can get it finished off. For the handle, you are going to chain 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. And then you're going to skip that first loop, first chain. You're going to yarn over and go into the second chain and do a half double crochet. And you're going to continue doing half double crochets down your foundation chain you just made. And since you only skipped one chain, you should have 14 half double crochets when you're done going down your foundation chain. If it's off by 1 or 2, do not sweat it. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that deep. You just need it to be able to go over that little hump and have a little bit of a gap when you sew it on. So if you find that the 14 half double crochets make it too long, you can shorten it and it will still come out looking perfectly fine and cute. So the part where I was like, oh, you could have weaved it in ahead of time. So this little tail, I'm actually going to do that with so I don't have to deal with it later. And I'm going to hold it against the chain and yarn over it and the chain as I half double crochet. Secured it in and made it so I don't have to weave it in. It's already weaved in. I just cut off the extra in a moment. Now you need a tail for sewing here, and you just need to put in a couple stitches on each end to secure it to the steamer. Nothing crazy. There we go. So how I do this and only need the one string is I'm going to secure it on one side and then weave the yarn through till I get to the other end, kind of like I did to switch sides here. So I'm going to place it on the top, and I will change your view so you can watch from right here. So I have it going over that. I'm going to double check to make sure that I'm lined up so the part that's sewn is directly behind this so that the handle's not weird. And then I'm just going to insert it, make sure I'm not stabbing my little dumpling guy, and sew through. And like I said, you don't need a lot of stitches, you just need to make sure it's secure. You are likely handing it to some sort of child. And if you're not handing it to a child, but you're taking it to a vendor event, it's probably going in a kid's hand at some point. So now it's good. I'm going to weave in back and forth, just going through the stitches, getting it to the other side. And then you stretch it, make sure it's nice and not squished in any way. And then we're going to sew it on just like we did the other one. Make sure you don't push it too far out so that way you have that little gap to make it more, realistic that it's a handle. Again, kind of keep your fingers underneath if you have your dumpling in there, just to make sure you don't accidentally sew the handle and lid to your dumpling. That would be unfortunate. all done. So now I'm going to tie it off. And weave it in. Our little dumpling is complete. Again, if you still need to make your dumpling, you can check out the link in the description. I also have links with all the items that I used in this project in the description in case you need to purchase any of them. If you enjoyed this, please like, follow, subscribe, hit the bell, all the things, and you'll be seeing more tutorials of patterns that I've made here in the near future.